It's now been 2 months that we've been social distancing through this whole COVID-19 pandemic. Our lives have changed quite a lot from it. And so before things eventually go back to how they used to be, we thought it'd be good to make a vlog for our own family's history about how we're handling all these changes.
So we live in Vancouver, and I imagine every city across the world right now probably looks really different, and Vancouver in particular really does. We barely have left the house during this whole pandemic, but the few times that we have, we've seen a bunch of stores boarded up. Nothing is open other than essential services or for takeout. The streets had been pretty empty and not really many people out.
When we were first going outside to get groceries, we went out always wearing masks. I remember you felt like we stand out so much.
Yeah, it felt really weird at first.
But then eventually we started seeing more and more people wearing masks.
Yeah, good that everyone started wearing them. She wanted some attention, so we just thought that we'd bring her over here.
If you go say hi to the camera. Normally we like to travel. Last year we actually traveled to Italy. We're so lucky that we got to see Italy before this pandemic just shut down the whole country. And then this year we were planning to visit Portland. Not something too difficult to travel to with Pico, but because of the pandemic we had to cancel those plans.
Luckily we hadn't booked anything yet, just the time off from work.
One of the biggest changes for me is my work situation. Around mid-March, my workplace had us all work from home. Really nice part about working from home is that I get to spend more time with family, seeing Pico all throughout the day. Previously, when I was working in my office, because of our longer hours, I felt like so much of the day had passed and I'd come home and Pico is already so much older and so much bigger, but now I get to see Pico all throughout the day. Whenever Pico wakes up from her nap, Kim brings her over to my office that I've made out in our solarium. Yeah, I get to kiss and hug Pico, then get back to my work. This whole working from home situation has felt almost like an extended parental leave. And so that's the really nice part about working from home. Do you find any positives with me working from home?
Yeah, I like having you work from home for the most part. I get to sleep in a little bit longer in the morning because you usually play with Pico for the first little while. If I have to run to the bathroom or something like that, then you can hold her. Because usually you get home so late in the evening, I feel like, yeah, there is a lot that you can miss out on, but having you home, you've got to see some really big milestones during this time with Pico. You've got to be a part of those more than you would be if you were at the office, so I like that.
Mostly, I'm very thankful that I still have my job. Some of my friends, they've even been let go from their jobs. So at this time, I know I'm very lucky to still have my job, but there are some negatives to it. And one of them is that spending all my time in one place throughout the weekdays and weekends, I feel like there's no more weekends. It just feels like the same thing all throughout. And so when Sunday night comes, I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta go back to work. I just don't feel recharged. Another thing is that as an extrovert, I really get a lot of energy from being around people, but now it's like back to those freelancer times and it's pretty hard on me. I know for the average person, it might not be as hard on them, but for me as an extreme extrovert, it's taking a toll on me.
When I see you taking a break, like lunch break or anything, then I know you need a break, but then I also think my job is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I could use some help. So then I start thinking like, maybe you should be helping me. I'm currently on my maternity leave. I am kind of sad to spend my maternity leave in this way because I was excited to have more mommy dates and go out and do things with Pico, spend more time with family, be outside. I do feel like it robbed me of my maternity leave a little bit, but that's the least of the concerns. right now. There's so much other stuff going on.
I have not been socializing with people much at all. A lot of people during these social distancing times still continued to socialize with one another through Zoom and video chats, but all those digital ways of connecting with people, it just doesn't do it for me. It feels like a chore to me. So I've been actually staying away from a lot of that.
I feel like you've done a pretty good job though of connecting with people online. I've seen you Skype or Zoom playing online games with your friends. In comparison, my social activity in terms of video chats has been like way less. And so I feel like you're doing a pretty good job.
Another thing is that so many people, they're talking about COVID-19. That topic has gotten very old quite quickly for me. And I know that's what's going around in the world right now, but I've never been all that interested in talking about current events anyway. By the way, if you want to know my whole philosophy around why I think things like this pandemic happens in the world and what it all means, you should check out my video on suffering that I made quite recently, as it sums up all my thoughts around that. Yeah, I'm much more interested in getting to know the heart of people and getting deep. And previously, even if conversations started out with small talk, I'd be pretty good at transitioning into deeper topics. But with everyone just talking about COVID-19 so much, it's become extra challenging for me to do that same technique because my boredom just hits me so much. I'm like, I want out of this conversation. I know that it's probably just a new muscle that I need to work out, but for now, it's quite challenging for me. Also now, I'm hardly doing anything with my life. I don't really have much to talk about. And so I've been mostly isolating myself, very different from how I normally live. I feel like I'm becoming more drained as a person. It's especially hard not being able to see our parents. I feel like Pico is growing up so much and we want our parents to see all her different milestones and growth. So it'd be nice once all these social distancing measures drop, if we can go to our parents and they get to hold Pico and see how beautiful she is.
I've had a few video chats during this time and they've been really nice, connecting with friends, connecting with family, so I've been pleasantly surprised by that. A thing that I kind of do like about this time is that there's not as much pressure or no pressure to go out or to make plans. If we had to go out to appointments or meet with people, I'd have to spend more time getting ready, and so I'd have to get up earlier. So I like that I can sleep in a little bit and just get up closer to the time that I have to. During a normal week, I have a lot of appointments and it's been nice to have a lot of them online, very convenient. So I wonder if those kind of appointments will still continue when all of this is over. We have church online on Sundays, so a lot of places are adapting to being online.
So for fun, we've been watching a lot of Netflix. That's not how I like to spend my time, but really there's nothing much else to do, right?
We watched Ozark, Tiger King.
During these times, I've been craving a lot of hamburgers, fries, that kind of stuff. So with this craving, we've been ordering food in. What we do with everything we order is that we take it out of the box and put it immediately onto our plates, and then we microwave it for about a minute, 30 seconds to just kill any COVID on our food. But it makes the burgers all soggy and just totally ruins all the food. Oh man, I miss the food in its original state. We really do enjoy eating out, not being able to do that. The closest replacement for that activity has been cooking. So cooking something nice and eating on our balcony has been enjoyable.
We had a picnic on our balcony too, where we put out a blanket and treated it like we were at the park.
I'm the one who mostly wants to do this, but I want to go for at least a walk just to get some fresh air.
I usually like to go for walks when there is a destination and something delicious at the destination. So I like to go get a drink or get some food or something, and nothing is open, and the things that are open I don't want to get, because then I'll have to sanitize or microwave it before I eat it, and it's just not as enjoyable. It's not as nice. In this time, it's really stressful. We live in an apartment, so going in an elevator and breathing in air that a bunch of people have also breathed in and like touched things. Getting out of the apartment is hard, and then walking around downtown is so busy. Coming home and having to sanitize stuff. It's just like such a headache and doesn't feel worth it to me. So I like to go for walks less than Daniel does. But we still go sometimes, but not very much.
Kim's standard for sanitizing things is so much higher than mine. I am much more chill about things. Just like, it'll be okay. Oh, we don't need to sanitize everything. Let's just trust we're gonna be okay. That's more my attitude, but yeah, Kim, she's much more strict about sanitizing everything.
So I love having our groceries delivered. Actually, it's something that I would like to continue after this, or even pick up. I think both are great services, especially because we have a baby and it's crazy to get to the store. So what happens, our groceries arrive at our door. I put gloves on. I take them inside and I put them in a safe area. One by one, I take them out of the bag and I put them on either the table or the counter on the side that is deemed dirty. Then I wash them all, put the clean groceries on the other side of the table or counter. When they're all done, I put them away and I wipe down the areas that need to be wiped. But even though I do this, nothing still ever feels clean enough. You know, like there's always a part that you have to touch, to hold while you're cleaning. It's just like you always miss something. This is crazy. I'm a new mom and this is a time of pandemic, so it's double the stress. There's so much that I'm learning, there's so much that I'm worrying about. I'm already stressed. And then this whole sanitization comes into play as well. And someone who experiences anxiety and OCD, like this is a nightmare for me. So I already want to wash my hands whenever I do things with baby, whenever I'll be touching her. And in this time of pandemic, we have to wash and sanitize everything. So it's just really taken everything to the next level, even maybe too much. Honestly, it's caused me so much stress. My mind thinks in a really detailed way. I think, okay, I put this here, I wiped this, but then I touched this item that could be dirty and I touched this tap and then now I need to wash the tap. But before I touch the tap, I touched the drawer and then I touched your shirt. It's incredibly stressful. That has been taking up so much of my time. My hands are so raw and dry. I feel like they've aged so much. They look 80 years old and they're a different color than my body. Like they're so red and the rest of my body is more pale. So it's been a really hard time for me in terms of that as well. And I really don't want Pico to see all this worry. I don't want to burden her with overstressing about these types of things. And so I really want to work on that. I can't wait to not sanitize in this way.
All these fears around contamination have added a lot of stress to our marriage and how we relate with one another. Yeah, we've broken out into fights over sanitization. And so I've also learned in these times that I have to be more understanding to Kim, have more grace, and try to see value in the way she sees the world. This time has made me reflect on our life and I feel grateful for all the things we have as a family. We got to do so much traveling before all this travel restrictions. We got dating out of the way, getting married, having Pico. We've got some friends who had to cancel their weddings, postpone getting married,
cancel travels, put off having children.
Even though we can't go out, we have one another to spend time with, but I imagine it must be a really tough time for single people who are just home by themselves. Yeah, I feel like our family is really lucky. I'm lucky to still have my job.
I feel really grateful in this time because we have our health and our loved ones have their health, and I feel grateful for all the adaptations that have come out of the pandemic. A lot of things moving online and making things possible. My heart aches, like Daniel said, for those that are in isolation alone, for those experiencing mental health challenges, for those countries where they are experiencing COVID to a whole another level with a huge death toll. My heart aches for business owners and a lot of other people as well. There's a lot of pressure in this time to be really productive and have all these new hobbies and these new skills and all the things, but we're not all baking bread and living our best life. And so a message that I hope that you can take away from this as well is to have grace on yourself. We are just trying to do our best to survive this pandemic. And I hope you know that God is bigger. And I'm really excited for this to all hopefully be over with soon. Of course, things might not be exactly as they were, but I do look forward to seeing people again. I do look forward to going out. Hopefully we will reach some kind of new normal.